Welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. For the news first where the people come first, I'm Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this afternoon. BASL calls for proper investigation from the Chief Justice over the resignation of the Mullaitivu magistrate. Anti-terrorism bill and online safety bill to be presented to Parliament tomorrow. Court order blocks several activists from entering Colombo. Fuel prices increased. Private bus operators want fare hike. Murderers can go to Canada, have wonderful life, says Bangladesh Foreign Minister. On to those stories in detail. The Bar Association of Sri Lanka has requested the Chief Justice to conduct a proper investigation into the resignation of Mullaitivu Magistrate and District Judge T. Saravanaraja.
This letter was handed over at the Supreme Court premises this morning.
We are aware that the Honourable Magistrate of Mullaitivu, at a letter dated 23rd September 2023, tendered his resignation, citing the ground that his life was under threat. So therefore, this is a very serious matter. If it is found to be true, therefore the Bar Association of Sri Lanka summoned an urgent executive meeting, and where we took a decision that we have to take certain steps in order to find out the truth. So accordingly, we handed over a letter today to His Lordship the Chief Justice, and further another 2 letters were handed over to the Honourable IGP as well as Honourable Minister of Public Security, demanding the IGP and the Minister of Public Security to investigate into this matter as early as possible and to submit a report and to conduct this the investigation in a transparent manner so that people will have the trust and confidence in the whole system. Because it is the opinion of the Bar Association, if these allegations are found to be true, it is a serious issue that will erode the public confidence, trust in the legal system, and it is our opinion that all judicial officers must have the freedom to discharge their duties without any fear or favor. Therefore, we will be closely monitoring this situation and we will follow up with all the stakeholders, and I hope that all the stakeholders will take prompt action and look into this matter and submit a report on ASAP basis.
The Anti-Terrorism Bill and the Online Safety Bill is due to be presented in Parliament tomorrow. State Minister of Mass Media Shantha Bandara noted the government is not going to censor social media.
මර්ධනය කරන්න හොඳ නැහැ. දැන් අපිට තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ තමයි මේ සමාජ මාධ්‍ය අවභාවිතා කිරීම නිසා.
It is not good to suppress the social media. However, the issue we have at present is due to the misuse of the social media, and there has been severe threat to life of the youth of this country. Social media has resulted in the family bonding to be severely affected as well. Also, certain individuals are leveling threats against religions. Also, if people are creating disturbance among communities, there should be regulations for that. They can continue to criticize the government. However, a person who becomes a victim through social media must have a place to seek justice, and that is what is this entailed in this bill.
පත්වෙන කෙනෙකුට සාධාරණ ඉටු කර ගැනීම සඳහා යන්න අවශ්‍ය තැනක් සූදානම් කිරීමේ නීතිමය කටයුතු තමයි මේ පනත හරහා සිද්ධ කරන්නේ.
The General Secretary of Ceylon Teachers Union, Joseph Stalin, says that the government is attempting to suppress the people via various bills.
2 pieces of legislation will be introduced. One is the Anti-Terrorism Bill and the other is the Online Safety Bill. This is an attempt to control the protests against the government and social media. The government will be moving forward with laws that suppress the people. Their existence will also be dependent on separatism. This will move the country into a very dangerous position.
The All Ceylon Farmers Federation says that all attempts made by the government to suppress the people's power will be defeated.
The presidential election must take place in 10 months and it cannot be delayed. Even if they try to suppress the people via various laws, including the media and social media, these attempts will be defeated. The state's power is under the control of the public. The farmers will show the way for the power of the public.
ඔයාලගේ රාජ්‍ය බලය, ඔයාලගේ ධන බලය, ඔය සියලුම බලය යටයි මහජන බලයට.
The Fourth Magistrates Court issued an order on several activists, including Duminda Nagamuwa and Venerable Gallave Siridamathero, preventing them from entering certain locations in Colombo. The order was issued following submissions made to court by the OIC of the Fort Police.
The order by the Fourth Magistrates Court prevents 8 people, including the convener of the Inter-University Students' Federation, Madhushan Indrajit, Inter-University Bhikkhu Federation, Venerable Galveva Siridamathero, organizer of the Labour Struggle Centre Duminda Nagamuwa, General Secretary of the Ceylon Teachers Union, and those accompanying them from entering certain areas in Colombo from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. The prohibited areas are the President's Office, Ceramic Junction to the NSA roundabout, and the NSA roundabout to Baladaksha Mawatha. The court order notes that the said individuals are prohibited from entering the said areas, should not cause damage to public and private property, and should also not engage in acts that incite the people.
"15,000 people in 4 districts have been affected by adverse weather conditions in Sri Lanka, with Gampaha district being the most affected. The water level of Kudaganga, a branch of the Kaluganga, has risen to a major flood level in the Millakanda area.
To the Millakanda water gauge, the water level rose to 8 meters, which can be considered as a major flood level. As of this morning, the reading was 8.54 meters. The Department of Irrigation notes that the water level of the Kalu River in Putupaula is at a minor flood level. The Anguravatura area along the Horana Matugama road has been inundated, disrupting vehicular movement. News First correspondent noted that many low-lying areas have been inundated. The water level of the Nilbala River in Pandugama and Talgagoda is at a minor flood level, resulting in many low-lying areas being inundated. This was the situation in the Kaddua, Malimbada, Katuwangoda, Narangala, Veniakula, Valletota and Talgagoda areas. The water levels of the Gin River in Baddegama have surpassed the minor flood level, reaching 4.45 meters, according to the water gauge. The Baddegama Agalia Road, the Baddegama Dodamgoda Road and the Baddegama Nagoda Road are all inundated. Several low-lying areas in the Vallivitiya, Divituru and Baddegama divisional secretariats have been inundated. Many houses in Kalanimulla, Mulleriava have been inundated due to heavy rains, displacing 400 families. Around 100 houses, including the Valukarama temple in Kudavella, Hambantota, were inundated. Several low-lying areas in Mahavela, Nakulugambo have been inundated. Vehicular movement in Unakaruwa along the Tangol Matra road was disrupted after a tree uprooted last night. The office of the engineer in charge of the Mahavela reservoir says that one spill gate remains open, releasing 1,000 cubic meters per second of water. The office requests the general public using the Mahaveli River in the low-lying areas to be extra cautious. Primary section of St. Joseph's Balika Vidyalaya in Kegol was temporarily closed due to the threat of a landslide.
The landslide warnings issued to 8 districts due to heavy showers still remain in effect.
The National Building Research Organisation said that the notification has been issued to several divisional secretariat zones in the Gaul, Mathura, Kegol, Ratnapura, Kandy, Kalutara, Mathale and Hambantota districts. A level 2 amber warning was issued for the Nilua Divisional Secretariat in the Gaul district, Ingiri Divisional Secretariat in the Kalutara district and Paspage Korle Divisional Secretariat in the Kandy district. A level 2 amber warning was also issued for the Pitabaddara and Kotabula Divisional Secretariats in the Mathura district and Kirialla, Alapatha, Kuruvita and Palmadu divisional secretariats in the Ratnapura district. Locals living in those areas are advised to pay attention to rockfalls, landslides and ground subsidence.
Issuing a weather advisory, the Met Department notes heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in Hambantota district. It further notes fairly heavy showers above 50 millimeters can be expected at some places in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in Gaul, Mathura and Putlam districts.
Showers and thunder showers will occur at times in western, Sabaragamuwa, southern and northwestern provinces and in Kandy and Norele districts. Showers and thunder showers may occur at several places elsewhere, particularly in eastern and Uva provinces during the evening or night. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during the thunder showers.
The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation and the Lanka Indian Oil Company have increased fuel price effective today.
According to the new price revision, the price of a litre of 92-octane petrol was increased by 4 rupees to 365 rupees. The price of a litre of 95-octane petrol was increased by 3 rupees to 420 rupees. The price of a litre of Lanka auto diesel was increased by 10 rupees to 351 rupees. The price of a litre of super diesel has increased by 62 rupees to 421 rupees. The price of a litre of kerosene was increased by 11 rupees to 242 rupees. Sinopec also revised fuel prices. The price of a litre of 95-octane petrol was increased by 6 rupees to 420 rupees. The price of auto diesel rose to 348 rupees per litre with a 10 rupee hike. The new price of super diesel is 417 rupees per litre, an increase of 61 rupees. However, Sinopec announced that there will be no change in the prices of 92-octane petrol.
These were the views expressed by the general public on the increase in fuel prices. Meanwhile, private bus operators say the government must permit a fare hike following the increase in fuel prices.
පෞද්ගලික බස් කර්මාන්තකරුවා දැඩි ආර්ථික අර්බුදයකට පත් වෙලා තිබෙනවා විශේෂයෙන්ම කෙටිදුර
Private bus operators are facing serious economic hardships. Short distance buses incur an additional loss of 1,000 rupees daily following the fuel price hike. The additional loss for a long distance buses is approximately 2,500 rupees. This loss cannot be borne by the private bus operators, so the bus fares must also increase in line with the fuel price hike. Permission must be granted for this.
වැඩිවීමක් සිද්ධ කරන්න ආණ්ඩුව වහාම අවසර ලබා දෙන්න ඕනේ. ඊයේ රාත්‍රියේ වැඩි වෙච්ච ඩීසල් මිල සම්බන්ධයෙන් තාම අපි
We have not focused on the fuel price hike. However, we will be discussing this along with other issues. We will be discussing issues that pose a threat to the industry as well as the fuel price hike.
අද දිනේ මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් කතරෝරුවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
Several trade unions led by the Joint Development Officers Centre engaged in a program to distribute handbills opposite Setsiripaya in Battaramulla.
Handbills were distributed opposite Setsiripaya in Battaramulla, citing that the state sector salaries need to be increased by 20,000 rupees. The All Ceylon Development Officers Union, the State and Provincial Public Management Service Officers Union and several other trade bodies are engaged in this program.
Wages were not increased in 7 years. The salary given at present is not sufficient to make ends meet. We will resort to massive protests this month, demanding for a salary increase.
Leader of the Jatika Janabalawege, Anurakumara Disanayaka, says the government has placed the country's economy in a trap that it cannot recover from. He expressed the following views at the Mavanella constituency meeting yesterday.
රුපියල් බිලියන 912 මේ අවුරුද්දේ වැට් ආදායම කිව්වා. හැබැයි පළවෙනි මාස 6ට හම්බෙලා තින්නේ.
They said the VAT revenue for the year was 912 billion rupees. However, only 230 billion rupees was received within the first 6 months of the year. So the government will only receive 460 billion rupees, which is half the projected revenue of the government. During the IMF review, they noted that they were not pleased with the revenue of the state. They have taxed us to the maximum, increasing the corporate tax to 32%, the pay tax, and also increasing the good and services tax to 15% from 8%. Now they are trying to introduce the inheritance tax for the money earned by our ancestors as well. The IMF had noted that even if the government imposes all the taxes, they could not be satisfied with the revenue levels. The electricity tariff will be increased to 26% by this month because the IMF wants to increase the revenue by 30 billion rupees. Ranil Wickremesinghe has placed the country's economy in a position that it cannot come out of.
කෝටි 3000කින් විදුලි බල මණ්ඩලය ආදායම වැඩි කරගන්න. දැන් මොකද වෙමින් තියෙන්නේ? රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මුළුමනින්ම අපේ ආර්ථිකය ලෙහා ගන්න බැරි පඹ ගාලක දැන් පටලවලා තියෙනවා.
Sri Lanka Labour Front says the people are burdened with the current state of the economy.
අපේ IMF එකට බිල දෙන්න රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ අපේ රීරි මාංශයම හුරගෙන කෑවා.
Ranil Wickremesinghe has looted from us to sacrifice us to the IMF. The IMF now wants more taxes to be imposed if we are to move forward. If that continues, the people will have to die. After the people have been pushed to the corner, they are trying to bring in the new Antiterrorism bill and the online safety bill to label the people as terrorists. Those who sacrificed us to the IMF are planning to completely ruin this country. The terror group assumes that the people will remain silent when they close off the country. The people will rise up against us.
මේ ත්‍රස්ත කල්ලිය හිතාගෙන ඉන්නවා මේ රට වැහුවාම මිනිස්සු කටවහන් ඉඳී කියලා. නැහැ. බරපතල බොහොම තීව්‍ර රැඩිකල් විදියට මිනිස්සු මේකට රැහිව නැගී සිටිනවා.
News first with the people.
The caretaker of the female tusker Sita, M.M. Roshan, says that the responsible government agencies have so far failed to intervene with regard to the administration of treatment to the tusker who is suffering from gunshot injuries. An expert from the veterinary unit attached to the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic in Kandy commenced providing treatment to the female tusker Sita, who is suffering from gunshot injuries. The tusker is currently receiving treatment at the Mahayangane Raja Mahaviharaya.
ඉදිමිලාද ડોක්ටර් එතන?
පොඩි මේක තල්මක් තියෙන පොඩි තල්මක් වගේ ආපු ඉදිමිමක් තියෙන මොකද දැන් හැම පසාරු කරගෙන යන දෙයක් නේ.
ඔව්.
ඒක නිසා.
නේ ඊට වඩා පොඩ්ඩක් ඉදිමිලා වගේ.
පොඩි ඒක මේ පළවෙනි දවසට සාපේක්ෂව දෙවෙනි තුන්වෙනි දවස්වල තමයි ඉදිම වැඩි වෙන්නේ.
හා.
ඊට පස්සේ ටික ඩික්ලයින් වෙන අඩු වෙන්න ඕනේ.
The tusker suffered a gunshot injury while being chained at the temple premises after parading the streets as part of the Mahayangane Raja Mahaviharaya Randoli Perehara on Saturday. The tusker was shot when the Mahout had stepped away for a meal. Veterinarians said that 4 to 5 bullets penetrated the left foot of the tusker. Investigations have revealed that the female tusker was shot using a repeating firearm issued to a civil defense officer attached to the Department of Wildlife, who was assigned to a security detail. The suspect was arrested over the incident and was produced to the Mahayangane Magistrates Court and was released on a personal bail of 100,000 rupees. Today marked day 28 of the second leg of the LOLC Devi Savya program. The program took place in the Muttur and Kinya education zones in the Trincomalee district. The second leg of the LOLC Devi Savya program aims to provide school books and stationery items to government schools with less than 100 students for an entire year. This worthy initiative is a collaboration between the LOLC group and the Ministry of Education. Students from 15 schools were provided with school books and stationery at the Muttur Zonal Education Office. Students of 9 schools were provided with school books and stationery at the Kinya Zonal Education Office. The LOLC Devi Savya program will continue to create a bright future for the country's student population. In a TV interview, Bangladesh Foreign Minister A.K. Abdul Momen said murderers can go to Canada and take shelter and they can have a wonderful life while those he killed, their relatives, are suffering. His remarks came amid the India-Canada face-off over the killing of Khalistan leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar.
You see, we have very good relationship, rock-solid relation with India, and also we have good relation with Canada. Both countries are friends. Now, I don't know the detail of this issue between India and Canada, but I know that, we have a problem with Canada. And that's about, we have one of the killers of our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, you just mentioned. You see, his killer is having a good life in Canada. He has been there, and we have been requesting Canadian government to send back that self-confessed killer of Bangabandhu, our father of the nation. But unfortunately, the Canada is not listening to us. They have come up with varieties of excuses. So we also went to the Canadian court to understand what is his status, because he's staying in Canada for a long time, and we want to know whether he's a Canadian citizen or not. So we started a case in the Canadian court, and Canadian, the honorable judges made a, verdict. They said that Canadian government has no reason not to disclose his status. But yet, Canadian government is not telling us anything, neither sending. Only thing they tell us that they have a law that any individual, if he's sent back to his own country, and if there is a capital punishment in that country, then as per that law, they cannot serve that individual. So we are saying that Canada must not be. Canada is a government to rule of law. They believe in legal system. Canada must not be half of all the murderers. The murderers, they can go to Canada and take shelter, and they can have wonderful life. While those who he killed and their relatives, they are suffering.
Finally, in your sports news, Hatton National Bank won the 39th NBA Interfirm Team Badminton Championship 2023. The 39th NBA Interfirm Team Badminton Championship 2023 was organized by the Mercantile Badminton Association. Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Group, Siobhan Daniel, was the chief guest for the event. 189 teams from 51 companies competed at the NBA Interfirm Team Badminton Championship 2023. From that, we bring to a close this edition of Lunchtime News on TV1. For details of the stories and much more, simply log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. For the News First, where the people come first, I'm Martin Satya Nason. You take care and good day.